From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is a Thunder update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Erik Horne. Erik, the NBA schedule, it's finally out. It seems like it was late.
Yeah.
It was late, right?
Yeah. You know, it was a little bit, well, it was around kind of the same time as last year, maybe a little bit later than last year. I think last year was around that first or second week of August. But it's a fun time for us that follow the league, that are going to the games during the year, because, you know, it's kind of like our early Christmas. You get to figure out your plans. You get to figure out what stories you want to write. You get to figure out the juiciest matchups.
All right, juiciest matchups. Great segue into what the Thunder have on their schedule. I guess any Golden State Warriors game is probably, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the best matchups, but November 22nd tops your list. Why?
Kevin Durant. And also Paul George, because this is a situation where, you know, Golden State's going to be coming back here for the first time playing the Thunder. It's going to be Kevin Durant's second game in Oklahoma City since he went to the Warriors last summer. You know, he had a chance to play 2 games here last year, but he was hurt in one of the games. But this will be another chance for Oklahoma City fans to kind of give whatever kind of response they're going to give to Kevin Durant. And it'll be the first time for Russell Westbrook and Paul George to team up and go against that Warriors team. It'll be interesting to see how much the gap has been closed, so to speak, between those two teams. Maybe it'll be better longer down the line during the season when the Thunder's had more experience together. Paul George and Russell Westbrook have worked together more, but it's a exciting early season matchup for these two teams.
Well, and obviously people will be watching that. There's a lot of people are going to be watching a lot of Thunder games this year. 36 on the national TV total, is that right?
Yeah, 4th most in the league behind the Warriors, Cavaliers, and Rockets. You know, it once again shows that the Thunder is a really big draw nationally. They've been one of the best road teams in terms of attendance in the past couple of seasons. I think they were in the top 4 or 5 last year in terms of road draw. You know, you've got Russell Westbrook, you add a Paul George, you've got exciting players in Oklahoma City, and it shows with the national TV schedule. They're definitely a draw.
Yeah, lots of really good games. If you want to see Erik's run down his top 6 games, marquee, in the Tuesday Oklahoman and on News OK, you can dispute them, you can agree with them, but they're all good.
Come at me. Come at me.
You start talking about Warriors, Rockets, Timberwolves, Lakers. I mean, just all these different intriguing storylines. Erik, let's take a pan back for a second. The NBA did some different things with its schedule this year in an attempt to help the players, help the teams, if you will. Talk about those changes and what people can expect as they look at these schedules this year.
You know, fewer back-to-backs for all the teams in the league. The Thunder has 1 less back-to-back than they had a season ago. They had 15 last year. They have 14 this year. And you have a situation where the league has completely eliminated 4 games in 5 night scenarios. No team is going to have those kind of scenarios where they're under a crunch of, you know, playing a bunch of games in a short amount of time. And a big part of that was moving up the season a week. You're going to get fewer preseason games. You're only going to get 4 preseason games. 6 was too many. Some teams were playing as many as 8 if they were going abroad.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So now you're going to get a longer regular season in terms of calendar, but it's also going to be a season where it's going to be less arduous on the players, and you're going to have fewer situations where players are sitting on the second night of a back-to-back. Teams are going to be able to put their best players on the court, and fans are going to be able to benefit from seeing guys on a regular basis that they really made plans to go and see.
I assume, I mean, you mentioned those fans who are in the house, but I assume this is also about TV audiences, because these games get scheduled, and then if, you know, somebody decides, well, LeBron needs to sit a night, and it just so happens it's a national TV game, I would imagine the league's trying to get those scenarios reduced a little bit too by spreading the season out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's embarrassing for the league when they have a scenario where they set up a big marquee matchup and, you know, Greg Popovich decides to leave 3 guys at home that really matter, or he doesn't play Kawhi Leonard, or, you know, the Golden State Warriors, who are a draw in every city they go to, they sit Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant. So it's definitely something that the league is looking at, not just in terms of player safety, but to help their product as well.
All right, lastly, let's go back to the Thunder for a second, Erik. There's always key stretches, whether it's a bunch of away games or just the caliber of opponents. You looked at 3 key stretches in the Thunder schedule, but what of those do you feel like could be really important for this team?
There's going to be a couple of stretches that I really think are going to be important. You know, right out the gate, the Thunder has around 6 road games and a 7-game span in the first month, where they're going to have to go play Minnesota twice in that span. Minnesota's going to be a team that's much improved. ESPN has even projected them to win more games than the Thunder this year. And there's also going to be a stretch out of the All-Star break where the Thunder's going to have a cluster of about 6 or 7 games on the road, where it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond to that. You know, Golden State's going to be in that cluster. Utah's going to be a team that's in that cluster. And while Utah lost Gordon Hayward this offseason, they're still a really good defensive team in the Thunder's division. It's going to be interesting to see how the Thunder responds to these clusters of road games where they weren't a good road team last year. Now, they do have Paul George, which will be a little bit different, but big thing for the Thunder this year, no road trips exceed 3 games in a row.
Wow. All right. Well, Erik's got all the schedule breakdown in the Tuesday Oklahoman and on News OK. I'm sure we'll continue to talk about this Thunder Buddies podcast and probably on Thunder Thursday even later this week. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.